And goals, I mean, I've got various bits of paper, like a degree in engineering. I've got an MBA, and but these bits of paper are really not worth that much in terms of the effect they've had on my life. I don't think they've had much effect compared to the piece of paper where I wrote my goals down. And years ago, I wrote my first list of goals. I read a book and it said, write your goals down, and I did. And that changed everything. That is so important to write your goals down. I think if you do one thing from this or from all these podcasts, write your goals down. And I wrote a list of goals, and they all happened. Within 2 or 3 years, they'd all happened. And I remember finding the piece of paper and just thinking, whoa, how can that work? And then the engineer in me thought, who cares? Let's just use it. I mean, we don't know how magnetism works really, but we use it. And I just thought, I'm just going to do another list. And in fact, my second list I can tell you about, because it only had 2 things on it. It was to do a job I really enjoy, and to only work 2 or 3 days a week. Because at the time I was doing a job I hated, and I was working 6 days a week. I was running a factory in South Wales. South Wales was nice, but the factory, oh God, it was a nightmare. And the stress and the pain and I just thought I've got to find a job I enjoy, and preferably if I could work 2 or 3 days a week, that would be fantastic. And then I ended up as a university lecturer, and I loved it, and it was 2 or 3 days a week. We had to do 100 days a year of teaching, which is 2 days a week, isn't it?
Wow.
And now I'm doing a job that I love, which is 2 or 3 days a week. So I wrote that down thinking, I can't imagine how this will ever come true, but I'm going to write it down anyway. And it worked. So I'm on my 3rd list now, by the way, and it's really big. And everything I write down happens. You presumably have a list, Jason, do you?
Yeah, ironically enough, I was looking at my list the other day from last year, and I went, wow, I couldn't believe what I actually achieved. And I completely forgot what I wrote on there, to be honest with you. And I just looked at it again and said, well, I achieved a new website. That's going well. I did a podcast. Now, a year on, it's been voted XY podcast of the year or up and coming podcast of the year. So another tick box. And speaking internationally, I've done that. Another tick box. So
it happens without you noticing, doesn't it? You suddenly think, hang on a minute, I've actually done all those. Oh, what else shall I do? It's almost hard to think of the next step sometimes.
No.
So goals is just the most brilliant thing.